David Savage, a.k.a. Diz, and this is The Force Always.
Okay, so welcome to the show. Let's get on with the Star Wars news. Later on in the show, in the review section, I'll be giving you a review of the latest episode 4 in the Disney Plus series called Disney Gallery on The Mandalorian behind the scenes. Technically, it's called Technology. That will be later on in the show, but that is airing now on Disney Plus. Check it out. Just look for the Star Wars area. To more news, Empire Strikes Back is now more than 40 years old. It's been sort of received in a bit more fan-like reception across the world, from my understanding, that is. And yeah, so it's now more than 40 years old, but check it out now. You can stream it, or you can get it on Blu-ray, or if you have a laser disc, I don't know. But anyway, to more news, Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim 2020. There's no movement as yet on possibly being cancelled because of this whole COVID sort of crisis of the world. But I'll be keeping you up to date with that. And that's pretty much the news for this time around. So now let's get into the views. Views is not about one's YouTube channel and how many views they get. But I still will keep rocking on because I love this. And it's not about predictions. It's just my story ideas within the Star Wars universe. So this week, as we have now getting back to the normality of Star Wars after the big celebration of the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back, Mandalorian, the behind the scenes is underway on Disney Plus, but the Mandalorian has been making news in the last couple of weeks, announcing certain characters or actors being in the second season. One of the big characters that's going to come back, as we sort of got a hint of it in the season 1, is Boba Fett. There's always been a bit of a discussion, if you don't know, that is Boba Fett and a Mandalorian. Technically, in the world of canon, he's not. If it was me, my story idea would be that I think he should be a Mandalorian, but I think he should be the rebellion to a rebellion. The bounty hunters, pretty much in Star Wars as characters or as a group, are rebellious to lots of things in the universe. So they are a type of rebellion, not the rebels as we know with, like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and stuff like that. A different type of rebellion, more sort of about making money and stuff like that. But I do think Boba Fett should be, or his family should be a rebellion to the rebellion. I think they were sort of wanting to be higher up in the Mandalorian thing, possibly being the leaders. They were rejected, so they went solo themselves and sort of made their own world. Technically, if you go back to Attack of the Clones, which is episode 2, we sort of found out he was part of this whole cloning thing and trying to create a world of his own, an army of his own, even though it was technically the Republic's army. This is to the story of Star Wars. This is not in real life, just in case. But I think he should be the rebellion of the rebellion, and that's how he should be connected to being essentially a Mandalorian, but leaving the Mandalorian Guild because of his own sort of maybe selfish ways of wanting to be at the top of the game, and being a leader, but it was rejected so many times, or things like this. And I think that's how the connection should be with Boba Fett coming into season 2. Hopefully with one at least full episode with Boba Fett to see sort of the backstory of that. And as I've said before, again with my story idea, there should be a visualization of his escape from the Sarlacc pit, which was in Return of the Jedi, episode 6. Yes, episode 6. There should be a visualization of that so we can sort of get a understanding of what happened, how it happened, and just a sort of a bit of a flashback within an original sort of way. We never knew that part of the Star Wars story of how he escaped, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's my story idea. That's views for this time around. Let's get into reviews. Reviews this time around is episode 4 of the Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian. It's behind the scenes, you could say. It's called Technology. Now, this is the episode that is a real behind the scenes thing. It is interesting. It's exactly personally what I want. I thought straight off the bat, this episode was a 9 out of 10. It did repeat itself a number of times, but it's the type of technology that is so intense, so detailed, so intricate. I in fact watched it twice to sort of really grasp the magnitude of this technology. It's amazing how they use this technology for a light box as well as a sort of backing stage thing, and the way the camera moves around with the visualization in the back is amazing, and the fact that we're technically watching a movie that is a game. That this is the type of episode that I found very interesting. So it's a 9 out of 10. It's called Technology. It's episode 4 of Disney Plus's series called The Gallery. Check it out now. Yeah, so that's my review for this time around. Let's get into the interviews. There's 2 questions we'll ask myself for you guys out there. First question is, how is the Mandalorian sort of series, Disney Plus at the moment, behind the scenes, The Gallery, tracking? I think it's, consistent. It sort of dipped a little bit in episodes 2 and 3. But it is consistent, and that's the one word that I use a lot with Star Wars. It's consistent. Even if it's a bad episode, Star Wars still has the ability of being Star Wars, and it does create a bit of interest. There's something interesting. It can be a bit woeful at times, as we all know. Something that's woeful in the Star Wars universe is the holiday special that is just incredible. In maybe a word of describing it, but so The Mandalorian behind the scenes, The Gallery by Disney Plus, is tracking, I think, pretty good. So check it out now. It's weekly in Australia. It airs about 6 p.m. on a Friday. So check it out. Second question: should Jon Favreau, who was helming the actual Mandalorian series, should he be the replacement for Kathleen Kennedy's position in the future sometime? It's a question that's been asked by a number of people out there. It's a question that is interesting. But personally, I think this guy is so creative that his world must be filled with creativity. This is not me speaking on his behalf, but I do think he would have a hard time doing Kathleen Kennedy's job because it's not so creative. It's more overseeing. I think he could do it. I think it'd be great. It'd be fantastic. It's nothing about male over female or female over male. I think it's just whoever fills the role for the position. But I think personally, Jon Favreau shows such passion and so, not just a filmmaker. He really gets behind the scenes into the actual use of technology, and he really understands the insides and outsides of things. And I was just amazed, especially with this last episode, Technology. You really feel and see and hear his detail. But I think personally, in my humble opinion, I think Jon Favreau is much suited as a creative influence in his career. I think taking on Lucasfilm head would make sense, but not make sense. Jon Favreau is definitely the creative head at this point in time with anything Star Wars. I think he is really left, right, depends on how you're watching this. Right and center, he's the man. He's really good. And not to dismiss Kathleen Kennedy, I think she personally has endured quite a position at Lucasfilm. I think she has had a great career. I think she's fine. She's just had a bit of turbulence, and I think any one of us in the Star Wars community has felt, seen, or heard individually or as groups the wrath from other Star Wars fans. We're just such a very specific type of community. Everyone has their idea, and including myself. But what I take on is accepting for what has been created in front of me as for what it is, and I think that's what I think. So each to their own, really. But share the wealth. But that's my answer to the question. I don't think Jon Favreau would be the best for the head of Lucasfilm, just always being a creative influence and a creative head at Lucasfilm and other platforms as well, other brands. Anyway, so that's the interviews 2Q for this week. I'm here as a weekly show. Subscribe to the channel. The Force Always, it's on weekly. So as I just said, I'll give you the Star Wars news. I'll give you Star Wars views, reviews and interviews. And if you want to ask me a question, just Instagram me if you like, or if you want to rock a Twitter to me, that's great. Or even by YouTube, send me a message and I can answer your question, things like that. So until next time, keep rocking.